Good morning. Today we are going to cover section 1.2. So let's go over to your notes. And remember that one of the things that we are doing is that we are going to start the notes on the left hand side and then we're going to continue on the right. So let's go and make our left margin. You want to make sure that you are using about 6 spaces. You want to make sure that you're using about 6 spaces on your border on the left. So let's go and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you want to make a line all the way through to make sure that we give enough space for any comments that you want to make, anything that you need to review. For example, sometimes we know that there's going to be a few concepts that will be on the test, and we can write ourselves a few notes. Or if you have any questions for me that you need to ask me in class. We have 1.2. Solving equations with variables on both sides. So this time we are going to have variables on the left, but also on the right. We are not having a calc because the definition basically we have the definition of an equation, which means that it has an equal sign. So let's go and get right to it. Let's go and just go through example number 1. So the concepts will be very similar that we did last time. The only difference is that now we are going to have variables on both sides. So we're just going to solve. And for the first one, we are going to actually check our solution. Then check your solution. And we're going to do just one problem for the first one, which is 5p. Mine equals 24 minus 3p. So notice that the equations look very similar that we did last time, but the only difference is that now we have a p on the left and a p on the right. And what should be my first step? My first step should be, correct, to draw the line. We're going to draw the line right in the equal sign. And now I need to be able to decide whether I want to be able to place my piece on the left or on the right. So what should I do? Ideally, it is best to just place them on the left hand side. Not always, but most of the time, I can add 3p's on both sides. That's a minus 3p. So I can add 3p and 3p, or I can just go ahead and move my negative 3p to the left, becomes a positive 3p. And now I can combine like terms. Notice that I place it right on top of the other p, so how can I add them? So that gives me 8p is equal to 24. And now we can leave the p by itself. So what should be my next step? The 8 and the p are multiplying, so therefore I need to divide. So I'm going to divide by 8 and divide by 8. The 8's cancel, so now I have p equals 24 divided by 8 will be 3. Now I need to be able to check it. So now we think our solution is 3, but one way to check it is to be able to plug it back in. So let's go and write the word check on the right hand side. And I'm going to write the equation down. But now to be able to check it, I need to replace the value of p with a 3. So therefore I have 5. P equals 24 minus 3p. And now I'm going to replace each p with a 3. And now I can simplify. Now remember that I just need to be able to simplify the left hand side and the right hand side. But I can't be moving things left and right. I can divide on both sides. At this point, 5 times 3 will be 15 equals 24. Negative 3 times 3 will be negative 9. And now I'm just going to simplify the right hand side. 24 minus 9 is 15. So therefore that 3 makes the equation true. So therefore we know for sure that P is equal to 3. Now using the ruler we are going to separate our example. So let's go and draw the line all the way through. And now example number 2. On example number 2, we are just going to solve it. We are going to solve A and B. A will be negative 3 minus 7x equals 2x plus 15. And now letter B will be 5a plus 10 equals 2a plus 8. So go and finish copying it down. Go and pause it if you need additional time. So now, what should be my first step? Correct, draw the line. So we're going to draw the line. And I need to be able to leave the x's by itself. So the problem that we have right now is that I have an x on the left and I also have an x on the right. So the first thing that we're going to do, we are going to move the x's to the left. You can do minus 2x's on both sides, or I'm just going to take the 2x and I'm going to move it to the left. And when I move it to the left, I want to make sure that I place it underneath the other x, which will be right here. That's a positive 2x, so it becomes a negative 2x. Now I can draw the line. The negative 3 comes down. Negative 7x minus 2x, so they have the same sign, so I need to add. And I am going to keep the sign of the bigger number. The bigger number is the 7, it has a negative, so it'll be negative 9x equals 15. And now we have a simple equation just like the ones we covered last time. So I need to leave the x by itself. That means I need to get rid of the negative 3 and the negative 9. So which one should I get rid of first? Correct, the negative 3. I'll move my negative 3 to the right. You can say positive 3. Now I have a negative 9x equals 15 plus 3 will give me 18. And the last step will be to divide. The negative 9 and the x are multiplied, so therefore I need to divide by negative 9 on both sides. The 9's cancel, the negatives cancel, so therefore x equals 18 divided by 9 will be 2. Positive divided by negative will be negative 2. So it's very similar process as before, but now we have an extra step where we need to move the x first to the left. So we have all the x's on one side and the numbers, we're going to switch them to the other side. But we do it in 2 different steps. So let's try letter B. We're going to draw the line. And now, one of the things that you should notice is that we have a on the left and we have an A on the right. So now, I'm going to move my a's to the left. That's a positive 2a. When I move it to the left, it becomes a negative 2a. And notice that I am being very careful. The a's have to be on top of each other. And that's 5a minus 2a will give me 3a plus 10 equals 8. And the last step, well, not the last step, but the next step. What should be the next step? I need to be able to leave the a by itself. So the next step is to get rid of the 3 or the 10. Correct. I need to get rid of the 10. That's a positive 10. So therefore, when I move it to the right hand side, it's going to become a negative 10. So therefore, the 3a comes down. And 8 minus 10 will give me, well, they have different signs, correct? That's a positive, that's a negative, so therefore I need to subtract, gives me 2. I'm going to keep the sign of the bigger number, so that'll be negative 2. And the last step is to divide by 3. So therefore the 3's cancel, and I have a equals negative 2 over 3. Remember that in this case, the 2 and the 3 cannot be reduced, and this is bigger than 1 or less than 1. Even if we just have the 2/3, the bigger numbers on the denominator, so it has to be less than 1. So now we're going to go over to example number 3, and that's going to be a bit more challenging. Just we have one more step to do. So let's go and draw the line. Make sure you guys are using a ruler. And example number 3. Solve A and B. So notice that's a little longer, and then we're going to place our B right afterwards. So now we have more challenging problems to solve. So take your time. If you need more time, go and pause it, and then we'll continue once you're ready. So what should be my first step? Correct. I should draw the line. So we'll go draw the line on the equal sign. That helps me just be able to see both sides. Now, before I start moving things left or right, or adding on both sides, I need to be able to combine like terms. So on the left, which ones can I combine? So I can combine like terms. So do you remember what like terms are from last year? Correct. Like terms are the ones that have this, whether they both have an x or whether they just constants, only numbers. So in this case, I'm going to circle with my red pen my negative 2x and my negative x, because those are like terms. And remember that if there's a negative x, we are missing a 1 that's hiding from me. So negative 2x minus 1x gives me negative 3x minus 5 equals negative 2x plus 3 comes out. So the only thing that I've done so far are combined like terms. And now I have a problem just like we had above on 2. I have x's on both sides. So now I can go ahead and move my x's to the left. And I'm going to circle my x. And when I move it to the left, it's a negative becomes a positive. So 1 becomes a positive 2x. Negative 3x plus 2x will give me a negative 1x, or just negative x. The negative 5 comes down, equals to positive 3. And now we have an equation, a simple equation, correct? Just 2 more steps. I need to get rid of the negative 1 and the 5. So go ahead and solve it, see what you get, and then we can compare our answers. Go and pause it. So at this point you have worked it out. So in order to be able to solve it, I'm going to get rid of the negative 5, move it to the right, becomes a positive 5. That gives me a negative 1x equals 3 plus 5 will give me 8. I'm going to divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1. The 1's cancel, the negatives cancel, so therefore the only thing that we have left is an x. We have x equals 8 divided by negative 1 will be negative 8. Right. Letter B. First, I'm going to draw the line. And now, notice that on the left we have an x and the negative 3. But what can I combine on the right hand side? I can combine the 2x, and I also can combine the x. So therefore, on the left, nothing we can do, so that stays as x minus 3 equals. On the right hand side was 2x, and one more will be 3x plus 8. And now we have variables on both sides, so go and finish it up, see what you get, and then we can compare our answers. Go and pause it. So let's see. I'm going to move my 3x to the left, and it's going to become a negative 3x. I'm going to make sure that I place it right over the other x. So now there's a 1 hiding from me. So So what's 1x minus 3x? They have different signs. So I'm going to subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger number, so it'll be negative. Now, I need to get rid of the negative 2 and the negative 3, so I'm going to move my negative 3 to the right. We can say positive 3. Notice that I place it right underneath the 8, so I can add them. So it gives me negative 2x. Same sign you add, it gives me 11. And the last step is to divide by negative 2. Not by 2, but by negative 2. So therefore the 2's cancel, the negatives cancel, and I have x equals 11 over 2. 2 goes into 11 evenly. What do we call that fraction? Do you remember from last time or from 8th grade or 7th grade or 6th grade? Correct, that's an improper fraction. And we can change it to a mixed fraction. Well, let's see. Positive divided by negative is going to be a negative fraction. 2 goes into 11 5 times, so a big 5. I'll place my fraction. My denominator stays the same. And now my 11, or 5 times 2 is 10. And 1 more gives me 11. So it'll be negative 5 and 1/2. Or negative 5.5. Some of you guys probably wrote that down. So now, let's see if you can do the next two problems by yourselves. So let's go and draw one more line. Example number 4. Solve. And we have A and we have B. We have A. We have 4x minus 3 equal to negative 10 plus 6x. And we also have B. So we just go and fold it, make it a bit easier for me. And for letter B, we have negative 7x plus 1 is equal to x minus 4 plus 3. So go and see if you can solve each one. Go and pause it, solve first letter A, and then we'll check our answer afterwards. Got it? Excellent. So at this point you should have solved it. First I'm going to draw the line. And now I notice that I have x's on both sides. I have x's on the left, but also x's on the right. So therefore I'm going to move my x's to the left. That's a positive 6x. When I move it to the left, you can say negative 6x. I'm going to draw the line underneath. That gives me a negative 2x, minus 3 comes down, and negative 10. And now we have a two-step equation, just an easy equation to solve. I'm moving my negative 3 to the right, we can say positive 3. Remember to use your red pen, makes it easier to read your notes. That gives me negative 2x equals negative 7. Different signs, subtract, keep the sign of the bigger number. And the last step is to divide by negative 2. Not by 2, but by negative 2 because I want the 2 to cancel, but I also want the negative to cancel, so therefore x equals. Negative divided by negative is going to be a positive because we are using the triangle. And negative divided by negative gives me a positive. 2 goes into 7 how many times? 3 times. And what's the remainder? So let's see. My denominator stays the same. 3 times 2 is 6. How many more to get to 7? 1 more. So it'll be 3.5 or 3 and 1/2. So now try letter B. See what you get. Go and pause it. So in this case, I'm going to draw the line. I'm moving the x's to the left and my numbers to the right. Well, but not yet, right? Because I noticed that before I do that, I need to combine like terms. On the left hand side, I can combine the negative 4 and the positive 3 and make sure to circle them in red. Makes it much, much easier. So therefore, my negative 7x comes down, plus 1 equals, my x comes down, and negative 4 plus 3 will give me negative 1. And now we can move my x to the left. So therefore, my x, move it to the left, becomes a negative x, or negative 1x, whichever you prefer. Sometimes now, I know there's a 1 in there, so therefore I just leave it as negative x. Makes it a little easier for me, and then you're still understanding the concepts. So same sign or different signs? Same signs, so you add 7 and 1 is 8x, and keep the sign of the bigger number, which is the 7. Plus 1 equals negative 1. And now we have a two-step equation. Move my 1 to the right, becomes a negative 1. So it was a positive. When I move it to the right, becomes a negative. And now, draw the line, negative 8x equals negative 2. And the last step is to divide by negative 8. So therefore, x equals negative divided by negative is going to be positive. And what is 2 divided by 8? 2 divided by 8 is 4, not 4. Remember, the denominator has the bigger number, so therefore it has to be less than 1. So we can reduce it by dividing by 2 on the numerator and on the denominator. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, 8 divided by 2 is 4, so it's 1/4. So just be careful. A lot of you guys might give me 4 as the answer. So let's go through example number 5. So let's go through some applications. So let's go and make our margin 6 squares. If you have larger grid, then just make 4 should be sufficient. 2, 4. Actually, 2, 4, 6. You can do 4. That will give you enough space. But if you have the smaller grid, just like I do, you probably want to be able to keep it at 6. Example number 5. You spent $50 on supplies for a bake sale. Each item you sold for $2. After the bake sale, you had a profit of $180. Let me press next to it. How many items did you sell? So take the time to copy it down. Then think and see if you can write an equation. Go and pause it, and otherwise we can work it out together. So we are going to have your cost. How much did it cost? In this case, we are going to be $50. That is your cost. And I should just say your cost. Correct? That's how much you spend on supplies. How much money did you get from customers? So that'll be amount earned. Your amount earned is, well, how many? It's going to be $2 per item, correct? So we know there's going to be $2 per item. Do you agree? So therefore, to calculate your profit, and we're going to write down your profit here. Your profit in this case is $180. So how do we calculate your profit? You've probably worked this out before. So to calculate your profit, you're going to be placing your profit is equal to your amount earned minus your cost. And that is how we do the equation. So your profit is $180. Your amount earned is $2 per item. Now your item is there are, what variable do you want to use? X? Is it X or B? So let's just use X. So be 2X minus 50. That is how much it costs. Correct? So if you made $180, how many did you have to sell? So now we can solve the equation. So now we have a simple equation to solve. I'm going to go and move my negative 50 to the left, becomes a positive 50. Go and pause it, see if you can solve it, and then we can check our answers together. Becomes a positive 50. That gives me 230 equals 2x. And I'm going to divide by 2. So it gives me x. I'm going to put my x on the left. Equals. What's 230 divided by 2? Well, half of 200 is 100. What's half of 30? 15. So 115. Or you can go to long division. So you solve, or you can say I sold 150 items. So these are the few applications that we can do in Algebra 1. And I know some of you guys will say, well, do I need to write an equation because I can figure this out without writing an equation? Well, at this point, we are getting to more challenging problems throughout the year. So it is essential that you write down the equation and then solve it rather than just do it logically. And the last example for today, example number 6. Find the length or find the length or the shorter side if a rectangle has a perimeter of and I should say if that rectangle, because we are going to actually draw the rectangle itself. So if the rectangle below has a perimeter of 80 and the length of the sides as follows. And we're going to draw a rectangle in here. So you see your ruler, we're just going to draw a 3 down and about 6, 7, let's make it a little longer, 8 squares up. Doesn't have to be exact, but I do need to see straight lines. And they are going to give you the following. They are going to give you the 5x minus 2 and the 2x minus 7. And they tell you it has a perimeter of 80. So let's go and highlight the key information. The perimeter, it's 80. So you need to remember, how do you find the perimeter? Correct. The perimeter, you can just add up all the sides. So we have 2x minus 7 on the left because we know that those two are equal. And if that's 5x minus 2, the one on the bottom should be also 5x minus 2. So let's go and add up all the x's. I'm going to add up the ones above and below first. So we have 10x, excuse me, and we have 10x, negative 2 and negative 2 will be negative 4. And now we have 2x and 2x will give me 4x. Negative 7 will be negative 14. Equals 2 has to be 80. So remember, to find the perimeter, you just have to add up all four sides. And go ahead, let's go and solve it. We have combine like terms first, just like we learned today, right? So I can combine, what can I combine on the left? The 10x and the 4x will give me 14x. Negative 4 and negative 14 will be negative 18. Same sign you add, keep the sign of the bigger number, equals to 80. And now we just have a simple equation to solve. So I'm going to go and draw the line. I'll move my 18 to the right. We can say positive 18. So once you get to this process, once you have your equation, it's a very easy process to solve. That gives me 8. 8 and 1 is 98. And the last step is divide by 14. 14 is cancelled, so therefore x equals 98 divided by 14. So how many times do you think it fits? So let's see, 5. So let's see, 14 times 5. That's 20. That's 70. That's too small. 6. 14 times 6. 24, carry 2. 6, 8. One more time, right? 7 times. That'll be 28, carry 2. 7, 8, 9. So that'll be x equal to 7. And now we're done. Now, so one of the things you have to remember, what are they asking you? Find the length of the shorter side. This is the shorter side, so now we're going to plug in a 7. So now let's go and find the shorter side. So let's write down the shorter side. And because the shorter side is 2x minus 7, now that we know the value of x, we can just plug it in. 2x minus 7. And the value of x is 7. So that gives me 14 minus 7 is equal to 7. So many 7s. So therefore the shorter side is 7 units. So this will conclude the lesson for today. So make sure that you email me if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.